The Steam Next Fest gets flooded with demos every time it's out. Talking hundreds of demos. And there's even a list of the top 20 demos that were the most played and most wishlisted or whatever the algorithm decided to calculate it on, because it's Valve's algorithm. But there is one I truly feel slipped through the cracks, because even when delving into Twitter replies of people complaining that this game or that game didn't get represented, this one is special, and I'm going to show you why it's not just a cutesy side scroller. Laika Age Through Blood is a metroidvania that focuses on riding a motorcycle. At times it reminded me of playing something similar to Line Rider or even Trials, but at a much lower level, okay? It's not that intense because you have to combine that with a lot of other mechanics. It's also a dual stick shooter that requires you to do cool stuff on your bike to continue in combat. So for example, you have to backflip to reload your gun, or you have to front flip to reload your parry. I thought it would be nice and breezy, more on the traditional Metroidvania side, but it comes down to look something more like a perfect execution type of game. Maybe something like Hotline Miami. You look at a room and you look at all of the tools that you can use to consistently reload your gun, or if you're going to use your parry, or if you can switch to a different gun to complete your combo, and then you have to execute that maneuver perfectly to move on, or at least that was my feeling. And I love games that do that, and setting it in an open world makes it even more unique. So even though that is quite an original premise, there is a much bigger thing here that makes me very excited about it. The world building and characters of Laika are something very unique. Sometimes you can tell the same old story, but just small differences that sometimes feel imperceptible but give off a certain energy make it special. At first glance, it might seem just like another post-apocalypse story, except whoa, big twist, now it's about anthropomorphized animals. But it goes way beyond that. From what I gauge in the demo, which can be fairly long, about an hour and a half if you start doing all of the side quests, even though this is a harrowing post-apocalypse where these two different species are vying for survivability, those being the dogs that you play as and the birds, and it might go through some of the themes that you normally see explored in these sorts of environments, like family and finding hope when everything is lost, and what it means to be alive and what is the point of everything. And yes, it is as depressing as it might seem for all of the cutesy animals that you see on screen. Laika executes those concepts very, very well and takes advantage of its anthropomorphized animals to make this struggle all the more primal but natural. You see, in a normal post-apocalypse, one of the things that we have to contend with is, oh, the loss of humanity. What a shame that we used to be good people and now we're falling into our most primal instincts. Look at us murdering other people and eating them. In Laika, they already are animals. So it all feels more earnest and genuine, and more like the thoughts of this primal nature being resisted in a way that subverts the convention that I've never seen done before. But just the general hits of a story like this seem to be placed perfectly. The demo right from the start deals with the death of two of your tribe's members, and how they are characterized, and the backstory that is hinted at through the small interactions you have with them, and the effect that their passing has on the rest of the community, and what needs to be done to give them a proper burial, and what it's going to be like to continue living on without them, are just things that I rarely see explored in bigger, much more narrative-focused games. And it was astounding to see it explored in such a short time frame of a demo in a Metroidvania side-scroller. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the absolutely gorgeous soundtrack that accompanies all of this. It's even one of the mechanics in the game, where you can find tapes outside in the world looking for old boomboxes, and you can then use those tapes to play different soundtrack music as you explore the world. And at least of the 12 or 13 tracks that you hear in the demo, not from the tape decks, but just in general, they're all excellent. And they provide this atmosphere that fits in so perfectly with the world that they are trying to create here. Next Fest will be over very soon, and maybe it already is. Sometimes demos stay on your library and you can still play them, even if you only downloaded them and never even opened them. So even if you don't have the time, take a second of your day to go download this demo and play it when you can, because I think a lot of people are going to find something very unique and that's going to speak to them in this game, and it's not getting the attention it deserves. Beyond that, I do have a bigger video talking about my favorite demos from NextFest that will be coming out very soon. So remember to subscribe if you want my opinions on about 11 other games from NextFest. But this video had to come out on its own as quickly as possible because I don't want people to miss this one, and seems like most of you guys are. I don't know how to end the video, so